Coming up new at 11, we'll see how local authorities are taking their message of not drinking and driving to the streets tonight. Details of a 15-ton pileup in San Francisco, plus details behind this undercover video where some bandits pelted the police with rocks.
Now, live, you're watching NewsCenter 6. New at 11.
Good evening, everyone. Jack has the night off. New at 11, keeping this a safe holiday season. That's what's behind a campaign in Albany County tonight. Melissa Merritt joins us live from Albany with more on what authorities are doing. Melissa?
That's right, JoAnne. It's a different kind of checkpoint tonight. It's called a blanket checkpoint, which means the police are mobile. And in fact, in just the last couple minutes, we saw a policeman go roaring by and another one up the street stopping someone. Police tell me they have made some DWI arrests tonight, but some party we talked to say their attitudes have changed when it comes to drinking and driving. Following tradition, it's the first big weekend for holiday parties, but unlike past years, there's a lot more attention paid to what happens after the party and the drive home after one too many.
I've noticed a lot of changes with companies. They're no longer giving out free drinks.
I think more designated drivers. I think people are really a lot more aware than they used to be, even 5-10 years ago, when you didn't really worry about how much you drank.
Companies and employees are worrying about it these days. Company President Steve Ross says they're offering coffee and snacks throughout the evening to slow things down.
So I think that years ago that the emphasis was on mixed drinks and raising as much heck as you can, and I think that both employees and employers have become much more conscious of the ramifications of DWI.
Even hotels like the Desmond and the Merritt are getting into the act, offering discounted rates for those attending holiday parties.
In the last few years, it's become a very important focal point from a liability standpoint and things like that, and we just don't want people to get hurt here. We want to have a good time and have good memories of the place and not have something bad happen.
For those party goers who do drink and drive, as we said earlier, police are out in full force tonight. And joining me now is William Georges, the Assistant Chief with the Albany City Police Department. And as you mentioned earlier, it has been a success so far tonight.
As usual, the patrols are very active. We're making DWI arrests and writing in a fair amount of summonses to people tonight.
In just a few minutes, we've seen a couple of cops here stopping people. Can you tell us with your radio exactly how many officers are stopped at this moment?
I just did a check before we went on, and basically of the 4 teams that are out, there's about 6 that are tied up on DWI arrests as we speak right now. The other teams are still blanketing the city.
That's amazing. And the mobile checkpoint as opposed to the ones where you see the police just pulling people over at one location is more successful?
We find that 6 to 10% of the people that we stop, we arrest, and what we can do is move the patrol around the city to wherever the area needs it the most.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll turn it back to you, JoAnne. A lot of cops out here watching if you are drinking and partying tonight.
Yeah, I hope people get the message and certainly don't get behind the wheel of a car. Thank you very much, Melissa Merritt, reporting live. The cold couldn't dull the pain tonight for those remembering the victims of AIDS here in the Capital Region. As part of World AIDS Day, 50 people marched in Albany by candlelight on Lark Street. Following the march, the group heard from speakers, sang songs, and listened to poetry. It's estimated 13,000 people are infected with HIV worldwide every day. A 15-ton tribute to the fight against AIDS in San Francisco. 4 million pennies are part of an AIDS fundraiser, which ended today, called Every Penny Counts. The campaign throughout November collected the coins at banks, schools, and football games. A tragic accident in East Greenbush tonight. Doug Lezette has details from the SkyCenter. Doug?
Well, a man has lost his life in a traffic accident. One of our just back from the scene, and a little while ago we received some pictures from the scene of the accident, which is at Hayes and Phillips Road in East Greenbush, about a mile or less than a mile from the Skodak town line. The accident involving a red Ford Ranger pickup truck with a cap, which was knocked over when the truck rolled over. And police tell us that the man who was in the truck was killed. We have not learned his identity yet, but the accident, police do confirm to us, is a fatality. JoAnne?
Thank you, Doug. A man who violated the trust of 2 young boys will pay for it by spending the next 16 to 32 years in prison. That's the sentence handed down today for Charles Gressler. A jury in October convicted him of sexually abusing 2 boys. Gressler met them through the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program.
I believe never happened. You utilized your position of trust to violate and victimize innocent children.
The mother of the kids told us this afternoon her children still suffer nightmares and can't trust anyone. A local mother remains under psychiatric care tonight after admitting she killed her infant son. A sedated Anna Christina Santana asked to be excused from her own hearing today after she told police she smothered her 6-month-old son Edward with a pill to stop him from crying. NewsCenter 6 also learned that Santana's 2-year-old daughter had already been taken from her, allegedly because Santana also tried to suffocate her. Santana's attorney hasn't decided if she'll plead insanity, but the district attorney will fight it. A different version tonight from Albany police on the arrest of a parolee during Sunday services at a church in September. Albany Mayor Jerry Jennings told NewsCenter 6 this afternoon officers received a tip that Jamel Clark would be at the Mount Olive Baptist Church. Now, they went in to find out when the service would end, but police tells us when the pastor then offered to help. Police say the pastor then summoned Clark to the vestibule where he was arrested. Albany's police chief says the officers didn't intend to disrupt the service, and he will instruct officers to avoid doing so in the future. A big change in the Oklahoma City bombing case. A lady calls for help with her tongue. Plus, season's greetings from the White House. It's all happening tonight. New at 11. They're looking for a new judge in the Oklahoma City bombing case. A court of appeals today removed U.S. District Judge Wayne Alley from the case. Defense attorneys requested the move. Alley's offices were damaged in the April 19th blast that killed 169 people. Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh are accused in the bombing. They could face the death penalty if convicted. President Clinton spent the day in a place that's seen its share of terrorism. The president capped his visit to Ireland with a banquet at a castle in Dublin. Clinton dined with over 300 people, including Jerry Adams, the head of Sinn Féin. In a speech, the president urged the Irish not to give up the quest for peace. Clinton heads to Germany tomorrow. An Indianapolis bank teller had to use her tongue overnight to call for help following a bank robbery. Police say 2 men entered the bank and tied up the 2 tellers inside, then cleared out the vault. For an hour, the tellers